Book one one's all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. One of her advocacy. Sorry for that. We're live, but I want to apologize, people. One of her advocacy is through story and art, explore faith, courage, and creativity, none other than Miss Ruth Douthitt.
Thank you, Daniel. Nice to be here with you.
Welcome, welcome, Miss Ruth. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I
Sure.
missed?
Sure. I'm a professional artist and a published author, a wife and a mom focused out here in the desert Southwest. And I've been completing art, creating art since I was a child, and been writing books since 2011. I started with a small publishing house, but now I am indie published. I self publish all my books. And it's been quite a journey, but I love it. I love my readers and opportunities like this to talk with you, Daniel.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Ruth.
Of course, of course.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And today let's talk about how to survive a self-publishing a book.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell us, many people think self-publishing is just about writing a book. What is the most significant mental or emotional shift you had to make to survive the entire process?
Really, you have to sell yourself. You have to gain trust from readers. Being an author means you have to get trust from those who are buying your books, right? So their word of mouth is what's going to make or break you. So the way you
Mm,
present yourself, your brand, and how you market yourself is key. And it's the same when I was, and when I'm an artist too, putting your work out there makes you very vulnerable. Well, with a book, there's a lot of work involved. You have to tap into readers who love books similar to yours and kind of, nudge them to come over and try your books too. So
yes.
it's a lot of trying to earn their trust and respect. So it takes a little bit of time. Don't think that it's going to happen overnight. Even J.K. Rowling didn't happen overnight. So it's about being consistent, putting a good quality product out there and just have that brand and keep yourself out there in social media and at book events and podcasts like this.
Yes, it's a process, people. It's just not only in one day. And Miss Ruth, self doubt is almost a universal experience for
Mhm.
authors. What is your most effective strategy for quieting your inner critic and putting your work out into the world?
Oh, great question. Imposter syndrome is very real. I dealt with it as an artist, for years, so it wasn't a surprise that I struggled with it as an author too. And all authors deal with it. I've spoken to some who are on the New York Times bestselling list and some like me who are just, putting out books as often as we can. Everybody struggles with imposter syndrome. One thing that I do is I keep in touch with other writers in small writer groups. We kind of bounce ideas off each other. We kind of, let each other know what we're struggling with, and we encourage one another. We're not competitors. There are plenty of readers to go around. Trust me, there's what, 7 billion people in the world. So we're not competitors at all, but we come together and we do our best to encourage one another and, remind each other of our successes that we've had. So when we do have those times of self doubt and that imposter syndrome, we remember that number one, we've published books. Not everybody can say that. Not everybody can say they have written a book and then published a book and then won awards or sold books, and met readers who say, we love your work. So we bounce those ideas off each other. We remind each other of what we've accomplished. And that helps us walk away thinking, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going on this journey. And it is a journey full of ups and downs. But that's one way that I've learned, Daniel, to work through those times of self-doubt.
Work through. I love that, Miss Ruth. And survival implies getting through something difficult. Beyond just hitting publish, what does surviving self publishing mean to you? Is it a financial sustainability, reader connection, or simply preserving your sanity?
Yeah, I think it's all three. I think persistence,
All of
I mean,
them.
there's going to be so many hiccups. There's going to be so many problems. People are going to find errors in your books and you're going to feel horrible, but you can always go back and fix them. Whereas traditionally published authors can't do that. So we can go back and fix them. And just not taking yourself so seriously, kind of laughing things off. If you're going to pay attention to your reviews, that means you also have to read your negative reviews. And so I recommend just not even looking at your reviews if you can. So, yeah, I mean, go for a walk away from the computer to maintain your sanity, tap into something else, go for a run. If you are really good at something, whether it's shooting basketball or drawing a picture, or whatever you're really really good at that doesn't require a lot of brain power or effort, go do that for a little while. For me, it's drawing. I can draw something easily, it comes naturally to me, so there's no brain power, there's no struggling. So sometimes I'll take a break from writing and just go draw something or paint something, and I feel good about myself again. So if you have that one thing that you're really good at, whether it's playing the piano or the violin or just going for a run, go do that for a while. Walk away from that computer until you start to feel that confidence come back and you feel mentally healthy again. Then come back and finish that story. That's what I do. That's what keeps me from tossing it all, through the window.
So, Miss Ruth, authors are often told to write what you're passionate about, but
Oh,
does
yeah.
the passion alone translate translate to sales?
That's true. They do say that when I go to writers conferences and workshops, they do say that, but the what you're passionate about may not always be what's marketable right now. I fell for that too. I did that too. So, but you also don't want to write just what is selling out there either, because it'll show. The readers will know that you're just going through the motions. So I think the best thing that I did was I wrote what I loved, which was dragons, fantasy. But I also knew that I needed to try something else to keep my voice, strong, to keep my writing skills strong. So I tried romantic comedy and I tried women's contemporary fiction. It was a struggle. It was a learning, process, but I learned something new about myself. Did those books go on to be bestsellers? No. My fantasy books are still my bestsellers. So I know I will always write a dragon story. I just love it. But I also learned so much from trying another genre. So, yes, write what you're passionate about, whether it's a cookbook or a gardening book or fantasy fiction, but be willing to learn, be willing to try something new because that's where growth happens. As a writer, that's where you really start to see personal growth. So now I'm tapping into suspense and I have found that I love it. So I'm going to stay with suspense for a while, but I will always have a dragon book to release because that is my passion. So,
It is easy to look after or other authors' success and feel behind. How do you stay focused on your own path and metrics without, well, getting discouraged by these highlight reels of others?
yeah, that's true. Social media has really amplified how much comparison steals our joy, right? We've all heard that. Comparison is the thief of joy. And social media, unfortunately, can cause us to have our joy wiped away from us daily. So, what I do is I do look at what other authors are putting out there, mostly just for publicity and marketing ideas. And the algorithms, they favor Reels right now, they favor TikTok. I don't do a whole lot of Reels and I do not do TikTok. I have my limits. And authors out there have their limits are too. You don't have to do every single social media platform that's out there. If you're not comfortable with, TikTok, then don't do it. If you are getting sales by posting on Instagram, then keep posting on Instagram. If you have never gotten a sale off of X or Facebook, then it might be time to walk away from those. So you have to do what's best for you and try not to compare yourself to someone else. Someone else's writing journey, it's theirs, not yours. So don't think that unless your writing journey looks exactly like theirs, you're a failure. Not true. Find your own niche. For me, it's dragons and, suspense, So try and find your own and then build on that. If that means you're the quirky dragon lady, well, then be the quirky dragon lady. So find what works best for you, and then, but you can look at what other authors are doing, but just don't fall for the trap of comparing yourself to them because it will keep you down. It brings you down mentally, emotionally, and before you know it, you'll walk away from writing. And if that's really what you're supposed to be doing, if that's your calling, then you need to do it. Okay? So if being on social media all day is keeping you from, completing your book, then walk away from it. I schedule my posts. I schedule them, on Sunday nights for the whole week. So that way I'm not on social media all the time. So schedule your posts and then walk away from social media. That's what's going to help you do it and stay consistent with it too. Okay. Because your readers need to read your story. So don't let the comparison thief, come in and keep you from releasing that story. Okay.
Miss Ruth, if an aspiring author came to you to finish with a finished manuscript, what is the absolute first thing they must before even thinking about covers or
Mm.
Amazon?
Hire a professional editor. I know so many self published authors who skip over that step. They might use an AI, tool to do it. But there's so much value in investing in a professional editor who is reputable. Don't just trust anybody. But send your manuscript to them to look it over. I also send my manuscript to beta readers because they will look for plot holes and things I may have missed, parts that don't make sense. So find two or three beta readers that you can trust. They read your genre. You can trust them that they're not just going to say, "Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever read," or they might be jealous and rip your manuscript to shreds. Find someone that you can really trust who will give you constructive criticism to help your story get better. So hire a professional editor. You do need to have that step. AI is great, but it won't give you that emotional support that you need. You need a human being to tell you where things aren't working, in your plot, or where things are really great and you're moving along nicely. These are things that AI can't do as well as a human being can do. So have a budget per book, invest in a professional editor, and find those readers, those beta readers that you can trust, and be ready to receive their feedback. It stings sometimes, it does hurt, but that's just helping you get stronger. It's like when you go to the gym and you're not going to lift the same weight every single time and expect your muscles to get bigger, right?
Hmm.
You have to live a heavier weight. You have to lift that heavier weight, and it's going to hurt. The next day, your muscles are going to be sore, but they will come back stronger. It's the same thing when you get that manuscript back. Be prepared, mentally prepare yourself for that feedback. It's going to hurt, but you will be a better writer for it. So do it. Please invest
Yes,
in those two steps. Okay.
you will learn from it.
Yes.
We often hear build an audience before you launch. For someone starting from zero, what is a one low cost, high impact method you recommend for building a genuine readership before day one?
Yeah, that is a tough one. They do tell you to have a platform. If you're trying to get with a publisher or an agent, they do look for a platform, and if you're starting from zero, that can be tough. It's quite a daunting task. So the best thing that you could ever do is create a website that's pretty polished. You don't have to invest in tons of money for one yet. Just start low within your budget and then start a newsletter. Grow a newsletter audience. And even if you're just sending out a newsletter to introduce yourself, to write about, some topics that you're interested, a few pictures of what you're working on, do that. There are some really inexpensive applications that you can try. For me, I started with BookFunnel. BookFunnel has been amazing. When I started with BookFunnel, I had 200 followers and 200 people on my newsletter list. After just a couple of months, I had 800 and then 1,500, and now I'm at 3,000 and it's growing. And what you do with BookFunnel is you can offer free little samples of your writing, short stories, poems, novellas, just short little samples of your writing to grow your newsletter audience, your newsletter list. And that, I don't care who you talk to, professional marketers right now are telling us tap into the email newsletter list. It seems archaic. I know it seems like 2008. I know, I get it. But they continually say, stick with email. People are still reading their emails, so grow your newsletter list the best way that you can, and BookFunnel is one of those ways. And just get to know your readers, let them get to know you. And so when you get ready to release that first book, you've already got 2, 3, 400 people interested. And then they will spread the word, and then it just grows and grows from there. So I know it's difficult. They are telling us all the time, grow your platform, grow your platform. But there are ways that you can do it for a little bit of money. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but do your best to have that website up and running and then a place where people can sign up for your newsletter.
Miss Ruth, as an author, what are your short term and long term goals?
Oh, that's a great question. Short term, I have a cozy mystery Christmas novella that will be releasing December 2nd, Murder at Christmas Tree Village. So that's my short term goal, to get that ready and out into the world. And to just wrap up 2025, I released 4 projects this year, a lot of book festivals. So I just want to wrap it up on a strong note. Long term goals: continue to grow as an author, a suspense author, especially to grow my website, to get my newsletter, list growing. I hope to release 4 projects next year, including another coloring book about dragons. So yeah, and just maybe land an agent in a couple of years. I hope that would be great. But if not, that's okay. I really enjoy self-publishing. I have more control over my projects, my book cover designs, the titles of my books, and of course, more royalties. I get to keep more of my money. So that's my long-term goals, is to just keep at it, keep growing.
Keep growing. Yes, for sure. How about hybrid? Are you considering it?
Yes, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I just started off as suspense, so I would love to work with an agent and maybe a traditional publisher to help me hone those skills and to tap into those readers. But I want to stay indie with my suspense. I mean, with my dragon books and my middle school YA books. I just feel more comfortable with that. But I would love to maybe try and be a hybrid author. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. Is this your books, Miss Ruth?
Those are my books. Streets of Florence just released.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my Italy series. Um,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
Streets of Florence just
So,
released.
can you give us a view of all this series?
Yes, so my husband and I traveled to Rome In 2018, I ran the Rome Marathon. And when I crossed the finish line, I knew I had a story. So, this is what I call women's adventure fiction. And it's about a group of middle aged women who head to Italy for adventure. The first book is in Rome, where Millie, she runs the Rome Marathon there. The second book is Windows of Venice, and it follows Joy, and she's going through a bitter divorce, and she falls for a local Italian florist there. And then Streets of Florence follows Millie again. She's overcoming a loss, and so she meets up with her friends in Florence, and they all become matchmakers to an American waitress they bump into. They want to make sure she hooks up with the right man. And so, yeah, that's my Love and Romance in Italy series, and it's all finished.
Yes, wow. What a great series, Miss Ruth. But before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Ruth, if you could only give one piece of advice to someone about to embark on his self-publishing journey, what would it be?
Be persistent. If you really feel strongly about your story and you want someone to read it, you have to stay with it. So keep going, overcoming those obstacles until you finally see, like I do, my books out there on Amazon. It's tough, but you can do it. If someone needs to read your story, get it out there.
Yes, indeed. So the Dragon Forest, what is all
Yeah.
about before
That's my first
we?
book. That was my first book I ever published, and it was inspired a lot by the King Arthur series and of course Lord of the Rings, and it just follows a young prince who wants to prove that he is a prince, so he thinks if he goes and slays a dragon, he can accomplish that. But he finds out the dragon is not what he thought it was.
Indeed, that's not the dragon for sure. So, Miss Ruth, thank you so much for sharing your books to the world. And can you please invite our listeners to support all your books?
Yes, please. You can head over to Art by Ruth, my website, where you can get my books and learn more about me and sign up for my newsletter.
Yes, please do support Miss Ruth Douthitt because if you support her, for sure more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Miss Ruth, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. It's been great.
Likewise, more to come, people. See you soon.